Hey everyone, what's going on? Yesterday we got this story about Kobe Bryant and how he's got nominated for Best Animated Short at the 2018 Oscar Awards. And it was for his retirement poem called Dear Basketball that he must have made a short film about. And if you understand gematria, which is the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases, you'll understand exactly why we got this story on the day that we did, because it's synced up to exactly everything. It's synced up to Dear Basketball, it's synced up to Kobe Bryant, and I'm going to try to make this video short, but please check out the links in the description. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases, and it syncs up with the calendar. You know, I've been doing this for a long time now, and every time a celebrity dies, it's always synced up to how many days away from their birthday and whatever their name equals. You know, their name will equal 50 and they die 50 days before or after their birthday. So many, just countless examples of this, and among other things. But our sports leagues and our history and everything else, it's all coded with this system. And Kobe Bryant got nominated 41 days before the Oscars this year. The Oscars are on March 4th, 2018. In the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases, Kobe Bryant equals 41. Look at this, Kobe Bryant, 41. The way you get to this is K is the 11th letter, O the 15th, B the 2nd, E the 5th, and so on. You add these up, that's 113. And the 41 comes from reducing it. The Pythagorean method of it, you reduce it down to numerology. So K is the 11th letter, so it would be 1 plus 1 equals 2. O the 15th would be 1 plus 5 equals 6. And you do that for the rest of them, you get 41. Kobe Bryant, 41, 113. Look at Dear Basketball. Dear Basketball, 41, 113. The mainstream media gives us a story 41 days before the Oscars. There's so much more I could go into with it, you know. Think about Kobe Bryant and the comparison to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, 113. Kobe finished his career against the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz, 113. Michael Jordan even played baseball for 1 year, 1 month, and 3 days. And Michael Jordan first retired 1 month, 13 days after Kobe Bryant's birthday. Michael Jordan's second retirement was on January 13th, 113. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant also both have ties to Philadelphia. I've talked about before how the capital of the country, Jordan, which is Amman now, but it used to be years ago, it used to be called Philadelphia, and then it was destroyed by earthquakes in the year 106 AD. And Michael Jordan's first retirement was on October 6, 10-6. And Michael Jordan finished his career against Philadelphia. And when Kobe Bryant came out with his poem, Dear Basketball, they played the Indiana Pacers that night, and then he announced his retirement with this poem. The next game that the Lakers played was against the Philadelphia 76ers. And Kobe Bryant is a Philadelphia native, you know. And now we have Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl equals 41. If you go back and watch Kobe Bryant's final game, the game where he scored 60 points against the Utah Jazz, they even took him out of the game with 4.1 seconds left in the game. You know, because they script this with gematria. They time it just right. They take him out of the game with 4.1 seconds left. So also in regards to Philadelphia, see, it's really weird because I've been making these videos for a long time now, and in 2015, I was talking a ton about Philadelphia, all kinds of stuff going on. I talked about a possible earthquake near Philadelphia, possibly a collapse of a bridge, such as the Franklin Bridge, because we had the Bridgewater shooting, the Monetta, Virginia Bridgewater shooting, and at the bottom of the screen it said Franklin Bridge, water, or whatever, and then it even talked about the death of a NASCAR guy in Pennsylvania going across the screen. And the reason that I bring all that up is just because I was talking about all this stuff with 2015 That was the same year that Kobe Bryant, the Philadelphia native, announced his retirement. But this year we also got the 4.1 Delaware earthquake that they mentioned was shook Philadelphia and whatever else. That was one of the big places that they talked about in the media. An earthquake near Philadelphia, the 4.1 earthquake. I'll leave a link to my video in regards to that in the description. But just interesting. You know, once again, another connection, 41. Now we have the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. In 2015, that was Philadelphia's 333rd anniversary of being founded. Kobe Bryant retired 33 days after Philadelphia's 333rd anniversary. And in Jewish gematria, Philadelphia Eagles equal 333. And in regards to all of the bridge symbolism that I've been talking about, I thought possibly it was something connected to the Steelers and the Eagles being in the Super Bowl. But, you know, the more and more I study this, it seems that it was just showing me what I was talking about in 2015 with Philadelphia and a bridge. Because the Steelers, or Pittsburgh, which is the city of bridges, and there's all the stuff with the number 81. Pittsburgh Steelers equal 81. Golden Gate Bridge equals 81. This year it will be 81 years old. And, you know, Kobe Bean Bryant equals 81. And think about him scoring 81 points in a game. And the Minnesota bridge that collapsed, you know, the Super Bowl's in U.S. Bank Stadium this year in Minnesota. The Minnesota bridge that collapsed was on 8/1 of 2007, and it supposedly fell 81 feet. So interesting, Kobe Bryant equals 81. 2015 was also the year that Pope Francis visited the United States, and the last place that he went was Philadelphia on the Jesuit anniversary when he left. He's the first Jesuit Pope, and that was also the night of the fourth blood moon of the Tetrad and whatever. And this year, Pope Francis's birthday, he's turned 81 days after the Jesuit anniversary. And then the very next day, we got Kobe Bryant's jersey retirements and whatnot. You know, they retired both 8 and 24. 8 and 24, if you write them out. 81 in gematria. 2015, the year Kobe retired, it was just so super important to Pope Francis's visit to the United States. And if you go from the day that Pope Francis arrived in Philadelphia that year, 9/26/2015, and you go to the day of the Super Bowl this year, 2018, it's a span of 863 days. 863. 863 just so happens to be the 150th prime number. And that's interesting because if you write out Philadelphia Eagles, it equals 150. And in regards to the Ben Franklin Bridge, it was built for the 150th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence being signed. A bunch of stuff that I've talked about. So, moral of the story, I'm telling you, 2015, Pope Francis's visit to Philadelphia, Pope Francis's visit in general was important. And then Kobe Bryant retiring, the Philadelphia native, it was all super interrelated. I even talked about the death of Rowdy Roddy Piper because he was on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they even had a bunch of stuff about the birds and whatnot. And they ended up being the Eagles. And on the movie They Live, they shoot up the news station, and then just after that we got the Bridgewater shooting in Monetta, Virginia. Monetta, if you look it up, means money. This year, it's the 88th anniversary of the stock market crash. Trump equals 88. Neil equals 88. Colin Kaepernick equals 88. The Star Spangled Banner equals 88. U.S. Bank Stadium equals 88, where the Super Bowl is played. Think about it. U.S. Bank. Monetta means money. Bridgewater. Minnesota's where the bridge fell into the water. It might sound like a lot, but I'm telling you, that is how they do these things in the media. They give you little riddles, and they code them with numbers. Just one more thing before I move on. I'll show you why it was important that Kobe Bryant, that the Oscars are on March 4th. Because 34 is the number before I knew gematria, just studying numerology and just noticing patterns in numbers is the number that I was following with Kobe Bryant. But In 2015, I was spot on with all of the sports championships. I knew it was all synced up to Pope Francis's visit. Pope Francis equals 122. And I also knew that it was synced up to Queen Elizabeth II. There was something synced up to both of these two people. Queen Elizabeth II, 168. So Pope Francis, 122. Golden State won the NBA Finals. It was synced up to the Philadelphia Trainwreck. Trainwreck, 122. That Philadelphia Trainwreck happened at 9:23 at night. And then we got the movie Trainwreck that summer with LeBron James. And in Jewish gematria, LeBron James equals 923. And in that movie, Amy Schumer's character, she's 9 years old in the beginning, and the rest of the movie takes place 23 years later. Then Pope Francis visited the United States on his 923rd day as Pope, and he went to the White House at 9:23 in the morning on September 23rd, 9:23. Right? Tons of stuff. Even in the World Series that year, Kansas City won the World Series, synced up to Pope Francis. And the reason I thought that was because on June 6th, a guy who dressed up like Pope Francis caught a home run ball of Salvador Perez. And I knew the theme of the year was Pope Francis. And then, of course, Salvador Perez is the MVP of the 2015 World Series. It was the 111th World Series. That's why we got the New York Mets in the World Series. I had originally thought it might be New York versus New York, a Subway series due to the train stuff. But in the beginning of October, I realized that some guy dressed as the Pope caught a home run ball of Salvador Perez, and the Pope was the big theme that year. And, you know, in the movie Trainwreck, they even talk up the Mets. They hate the Yankees, they love the Mets, whatever else. And then, you know, Matt Harvey wouldn't come out of the game until he pitched 111 pitches, and the game was on 11/1 that ended the 111th World Series. New York Mets equal 168, just like Queen Elizabeth II. And look at Cleveland Cavaliers, who lost in the NBA Finals. 168, right? So, funny they equal 111 too. I didn't even realize that until now. They equal 111 in reverse. Wow, that's so fitting. But moral of the story is, just saying, I was spot on in 2015 until the Super Bowl, which I knew was connected to the 1985 Bears, because the World Series that year, it began on October 27th. And that is the 333rd anniversary of Philadelphia. October 27th, 2015. And in the movie Back to the Future, when Marty, after part 3 is over, and Marty goes back and the train destroys the time machine, it's October 27th of 1985. And October 27th, 1985 was the last time that the Royals had won the World Series. So it was synced up to Back to the Future, just not for the Cubs. And, you know, everything, Marty McFly even has KC daylighters on his Toyota 4x4 and whatever else. But everything was synced up to the year 1985 that year. The Royals won for the first time since '85. In the college football championship, Alabama, their quarterback had the 85 on his wristband, or something to do with Interstate 85. The Super Bowl is all about the 85 Bears. That's why the Panthers were in the Super Bowl. The Panthers coach even played for the 85 Bears. And then Villanova won the championship for the first time since 1985 when they beat Patrick Ewing's team, you know. And then Patrick Ewing and Allen Iverson are the only first-round draft pick, first pick of the draft out of Georgetown, whatever else. Think about Allen Iverson. He's super synced up to Philadelphia. And then, oh man, yeah, a bunch more stuff. Even the Cleveland Cavaliers that next year was synced up to the royal family. The Cavaliers are a follower of King Charles and a whole bunch of other stuff. But just want to show a few more things, then I'm going to move on. Declaration of Independence. 122. Think about that just in regards to Philadelphia. Liberty Bell. 122. You know, there's some significant things. That number's really important. San Francisco has a whole bunch of connections to Philadelphia, right? Even the Warriors were originally from Philadelphia. San Francisco, 122, just like Golden State. San Francisco on the 122nd meridian. They're both named after, Pope Francis is named after St. Francis of Assisi. San Francisco named after St. Francis of Assisi. San Francisco has the Golden Gate Bridge. Lots of stuff, you know. I wanted to make this short, but it doesn't work out that way. So anyway, let's move on to this post. So, if you go from Kobe Bryant's birthday to the day of his jersey retirement day, it's 117 days. And if you go from that day to the Super Bowl, it's 1 month, 17 days. And Kobe Bryant, with the E exception and reverse reduced, his name equals 117 as well. Kobe Bean Bryant, 117. And this happens 1 month, 17 days before the Super Bowl, 117 days after his birthday. And keep in mind, we also got that story about Kentavious Caldwell Pope, right? The Lakers player, Caldwell Pope. I'll leave a link to that video as well, but he played in the game against Golden State when Kobe Bryant retired or whatever, or the jersey retirement was against Golden State. And he didn't play in the game before and the game after, which was the Cavaliers and the Rockets. So, I'm not sure if that's pointing to the Cavs and the Rockets in the NBA Finals, or if possibly it's just saying the Golden State's going to win again. But Golden State Warriors equal 117. And they also equal 243. Kobe Bean Bryant equals 243 in reverse. And if you recall Kentavious Caldwell Pope, they said if he doesn't serve his 25-day jail sentence, he's going to have to go back to Oakland, Michigan, or Oakland County Jail in Detroit, I think it was. You know, Oakland is where the Golden State Warriors play. So, a lot synced up. If you include the end dates on these, the total span of days, so both of these days are important. So, but if you include the end date, it would be 118 days after Kobe Bryant's birthday, and 1 month and 18 days before the Super Bowl, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania equals 118. And just think about all the 41 that I was talking about in the beginning. 41, if you write it out as words, it equals 118. So as for the Oscars being on March 4th, 3/4 or 4/3, like I said, before I even knew gematria, I noticed all these patterns with Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant even tore his Achilles against the Golden State Warriors, right? Harrison Barnes was guarding him. But he tore his Achilles age 34, and then he comes back in and he shoots the free throws, you know, which just seems unbelievable to me. He tears his Achilles, he goes in, and he makes 2 free throws, and he scored, that gave him his 34th point. So he scored 34 points, tears his Achilles that game, age 34. Got the Lakers their 43rd win, right? The reflection of 34. Even when he came in, he made them 2 free throws, he made the score 109 to 109. Well, that's so fitting. Look at Los Angeles and gematria. 109, you know. That's why the Los Angeles Lakers have Lonzo Ball. 109, you know. I mean, look at Kobe Bryant here. Kobe Bryant, 58. Los Angeles Lakers, 58. You know, Kobe Bryant. Los Angeles Lakers even have the sync to Pope Francis. That equals 175 in reverse. Anyway, after Kobe tore his Achilles, he came back exactly 34 weeks later. You know, he came back in a short amount of time. They made sure it was exactly 34 weeks. And there's so much more. There's games and all kinds of stuff that I've documented where Kobe scored the 34th point of the game, or just all kinds of stuff over the years. But last year, in 2015, just before announcing his retirement, the Lakers even lost to the Warriors by 34 points. And then later on in the year, on the 3rd meeting out of 4, I believe, when the Lakers upset the Warriors and kept the Warriors on 61 wins in their big year where they beat the Bulls record and whatnot, Kobe made the 4th point, and he made the score 3-4, and that got Byron Scott his 34th win or whatever when the Lakers won. Byron Scott equals 43. Remember, Kobe couldn't play with Shaq. Shaq, who wore number 34. I believe that Warriors game where the Lakers won was even on Shaq's birthday. Could be wrong about that. Sometime right around Shaq's birthday. The year that Kobe Bryant scored 81 points, that was on January 22nd, 1/22, right? And the Lakers scored 122 points in that game. And it was 43 years after Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Wilt Chamberlain is from Philadelphia. Wilt Chamberlain, born in Philadelphia, died in Bel Air, California. A lot like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, right? From West Philadelphia, born and raised, and then he moves to Bel Air to live with the Banks family, right? Think about it. U.S. Bank Stadium. 2016, we got the death of Will Smith, the New Orleans Saint player, on 4/9. Just a couple days after that, we got the death of some musician guy named Doug Banks, or whatever. And Will Smith, the football player, he died 2 years, 3 months, and 2 years, 3 months, and 9 days after Uncle Phil died on December 31st of 2013, I believe. So Will Smith, the football player, died 2 years, 3 months, 9 days after Uncle Phil or whatever. And 239, it's the, 9/23, September 23rd, 23/9, a lot like 239. The 52nd prime number, we're going into Super Bowl 52. Minnesota equals 52. And that year was all about the Phil symbolism before the Super Bowl, before the Broncos. Wasn't it the Broncos got beat by the Seahawks or whatever? We had Uncle Phil die. There was something to do with the guy from Duck Dynasty named Phil, or something with Duck Dynasty and Phil. Then in the pregame show, when Philip Phillips was singing the pregame songs or whatever, we got the news of the death of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And if you looked up Philip, it means like a guy who loves horses or whatever. And then the Denver Broncos got destroyed in the Super Bowl or whatever. The horse. And the total score of that was even 52 points and a bunch of other stuff. But hopefully I'm not losing yet. So anyway, Byron Scott got his 34th win. It kept the Warriors on 61 wins. If you write out 34's words, it equals 61. All the stuff is stuff I documented with the Civil War, too. 34 and 43. Really important to Abraham Lincoln, the Civil War, and Kansas, the 34th state, and how it syncs up to the Philadelphia experiment that equals 122 in Gematria. But whatever, I'm going to move on. Kobe's 81-point game, though, was 43 years after Wilt Chamberlain's, and when he scored his 81st point in that game, they took him out, or it was with 43.4 seconds left, right? The mirrors, 43, 34. And yesterday, so right as I was finishing up this blog post, I went to Yahoo, because I always research while I'm typing up a blog post. I kind of do like multiple things at once while I'm thinking or whatever. And this was like the trending thing on yahoo.com when I went to yahoo.com. LeBron James, yesterday, the day that Kobe Bryant gets nominated for the Oscars, LeBron James breaks Kobe Bryant's record of being the youngest player to reach 30,000 points. Kobe Bryant was 34 years old when he did that, So, just funny that it comes on the same game, or the same day that we get this big story about Kobe Bryant and the Oscars that are coming out on 3/4. So, we'll leave it at that. This is way longer than I wanted it to be, but I wanted to explain some stuff about Philadelphia in the year 2015. Even Bruce Springsteen was born on 9/23, and Bruce Springsteen sang the theme song for the movie Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and whatever else. Look at Tom Hanks, the reason he's in the movie Philadelphia. Tom Hanks, 101. Look at Philadelphia, 101. 9/23 to the day Kobe came out with Dear Basketball and announced his retirement. 65 days. 9/23 to 11/27, 65 days. Philadelphia, 65. 34 equals 61. Philadelphia, 61. This is a big number important to God. God equals 61. Jesus equals 61. Holy Spirit equals 61. Cross, church, Christian, all equals 61. Philadelphia comes from the book of Revelation, where Revelation 3:7, where they mention the key of David. The key of David, no, I spelled it wrong, but same letters, 135. Kobe Bean Bryant, 135. So, we'll leave it at that. You know, it's definitely synced up to Philadelphia being in the Super Bowl, whether they're going to win or not. There's so much stuff that I was talking about in 2015, you know, with the 4 people that were watching my videos at the time. If you just go back and look at my videos in 2015, or go to my thing on YouTube and just type in Philadelphia or something like that when you search for my videos, I'm telling you, I have tons and tons of videos in regards to Philadelphia. So, let's pull it up really quick. Even Hulk Hogan that I was talking about earlier, I mentioned Hulk Hogan because of the death of Roddy Piper. And Hulk Hogan is HH, a lot like 88, and he broke his ribs by earthquake, and then it was on the Brother Love show. Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. And then Hulk Hogan got his revenge at the SummerSlam that was at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. So, you know, just tons of videos. You can come check them out. Sylvester Stallone's really important. Rocky. Carl Weathers is also Chubbs in the movie Happy Gilmore, who learns how to putt on the earthquake golf course. And the building that falls over looks like the Comcast Center in Philadelphia. I mean, just tons of stuff. So, hopefully you understand how it's rigged. Have a good one. Peace.